Okay, welcome to tonight's stream. As soon as I get this monitor up and going here. History. And okay. I'm going to go over what I'm doing here. I've done an alignment video before, but it's always good to, I don't know, for a refresher. If you saw that picture on the opening part of the stream, that picture is Chris Rudd's Junar XL. And him and Billy are the ones who basically designed this airplane. And what I'm going to be doing tonight is the alignment. Now, I'll go over the weights of this thing here real quick. The wing ended up 13.5 ounces. That's with covering and 4 coats of dope on it. The elevator stabilizer ended up 3.3 ounces. That's covered with 4 coats of dope on it. The rudder is 3/10. I don't know how many grams that is. 4 coats of dope and tissue on it. And all the top and bottom blocks, meaning this molded top piece here. This is a carved piece here. We'll get an accurate weight on this stuff so you kind of got an idea of. I'm trying to hit 55 ounces with this airplane, and because that's where Billy says it flies the best, and Chris was at 56, and it flew real nice. I think I can do it because I have less things to put on it. So let's get a weight on this. On this stuff here. So we have a top block, or top piece, the nose piece, and the bottom. Not a cowl, but all this together weighs 1.25 ounces. It's respectable. I think I can get a little bit out of this this nose piece. This was a carved piece that I hollowed. I'll sand that some more and try to get some out. And then when I get this glued on, I'll end up carving this away, depending on how that goes. Now, I changed up the numbers on this a little bit. I made my nose 10 1/8 long, but I moved the motor back 3/4 of an inch with the Jim Lee custom motor extension. And the tail moment is 16 inches. So it's a short coupled airplane, but they really flew nice. I mean, I really liked it. How I've been doing my fuselages lately since I started this is I split them in half like this. Instead of cutting the old way we used to cut the bottom out and then glue the bottom part back in. I believe this way is stronger, and it stays a lot straighter as far as I'm concerned. Now, I'm running a Super Tiger 60 in this. We know that if you use anything more than 10% nitro, it takes more than 6 ounces to run the full pattern. So I'm putting a 6.5 ounce tank in it, but in order to do that, with the motor set back, I had to notch the wing. so that the wing locks in a notch on this piece here. I use the Bob Hunt True Fit wing setup. I made a plug and then drew it on the fuselage sides and then sanded to the line, and it fits perfect. So it's, I can't remember what he calls it, the perfect fit fuselage. And it's got all the center lines on it, so that should be good. If you have any questions, you have to go on YouTube and you type it into the chat area and I can see them. I got my laptop set up over here on the workbench this time. It takes me a few seconds to get to it, but I can see the questions. All right. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the wing off the bench, and we're going to draw some lines. Like I know that I've shown this before. It sure is nice to have some room in a shop to work. I really like it. So here's my nose piece, and as I stated, it's set back in there. So I have a T-square. And this is a piece of double strength glass, 1/4 inch plate. It's been beveled on the edges so you don't get cut. I'm just going to eyeball approximately the center of this, and it doesn't matter because we're going to be going off the center line. Now this is a felt tip pen. They're a little bit hard to see. I don't know if there's a better option, grease pencil or what have you. But the next thing we're going to do, we're going to need another line for the trailing edge of the wing and the trailing edge of the stabilizer. So I ended up getting a couple new triangles off of Amazon. They were cheap, $6. Gotta be cheap now, no money. But they're nice, so we'll give them a try. Get the big one. Just like I was in high school again. All right. So I want to make a mark at the leading edge of this. Which is right here. And we'll put this back on. All right, we got the leading edge done. A mark there. I see no one's talking, so that's good. I'm going to take the True Fit plug. And this should be the trailing edge. And of course, we're going to check it against the pieces, because the pieces could be out just a little bit. So that's the trailing edge of the wing. And I'm going to come 16 inches from the trailing edge and make a mark for the stabilizer. And 16. So these marks should be correct, and then we'll jig from there. So now you know that you have the trailing edge of the wing and the trailing edge of the elevator stabilizer parallel to each other, at least parallel to the center line of the airplane. And this is how I do it. You know, results may vary. So let's check it. And then we'll draw the complete lines. So I want to put this upside down here. And then we're going to put this upside down. And I do everything upside down. You know, you could do it right side up like Al Raid does, but I do it upside down. All right, that looks pretty good. Let's see how the trailing edge of the stabilizer looks. Now this stabilizer is not glued in. It's everything is, it just fits so tight that it kind of stays together. But if I made my marks right, everything should be correct. Okay, so there is the center. I got center lines on the bulkheads too, and we're going to go ahead and CA some blocks of wood down to the bench to hold this fuselage in place. Once that's done, we'll just drop it together and glue it. So, out. That's straight there. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to cut up some triangles and we're going to glue them to the bench, because this is those lines that I drew are correct. Exactly correct. So we're good there. I'm going to go ahead and transfer the lines all the way across so that I can make sure that it's perfect. If my plate glass was larger, I would go all the way across, but it isn't, so I have to deal with it. And hopefully this thing is square, but I'm going to have to push the glass over. Now, I did a video last night, but I was streaming from my main computer, and we lost the stream. So I started the stream, and when I went back to check to see the processing, it never processed. So we lost the video last night. If you watched it, great. If you didn't, no big deal. There wasn't much to show. I was working on the other wing, the Continental wing. I worked on it today a bit. The push rod is drying now. Okay, so and these lines we'll just wipe off with alcohol. No big deal. Okay, so we're done with the pen. And we're done with the square. The T. Put that up there. Move my glass back into the center of the table so I can block the wing farther out. So we have a pretty basic jig here. It's pretty self-explanatory how I do it. So we'll get some wood here, some scrap. I just went over to my scrap pile and we're going to cut up a few pieces on the table saw here, and then make some 45s, or some 90s I should say. So let's cut these. Now we'll try that. I don't need to get too carried away. So these are just some scraps I just whipped up there real quick. We'll go ahead and clean up the edge and cut them into triangles. They look pretty good. They look pretty good. So if you notice what I did there is I squared it doesn't matter what size they are. We know that two of the corners are 90 degrees, so I can mark that with a felt tip pen. We know this goes down towards the bench. There. And there. And then just cut across. Cut across, and we got our triangles. It doesn't matter whether they're equilateral triangles or not. These happen to be pretty close to equilateral because it's very close. And we'll do the same here. We need 4 for the nose, and then some blocking for the tail section. I bought 30 minute epoxy to do this job. Normally because I'm always in a hurry, I use 5 minute, but I want to make sure that I get this airplane super accurate this year. Because just like I told Chris, next year, this is my next year's airplane. I got involved in some other things, and I didn't have any chance. I still haven't flown any stunt patterns for the year. And I got a contest I'm going to this month, and probably just go in cold and whatever. But next year, I'm going to have 2 of these airplanes because I really like the way they flew. I really watched them close, and I'm going to try to make it. I'll try again, one more time. Okay. So, set it on the center lines. Then we're going to glue my triangles to the glass, maybe. Well, we know the fuselage is square to the bench because we got these triangles. So I put 4 on the nose piece. Everybody asleep yet? Okay, that's not going anywhere. And once I get this pretty much jigged up, I will put down a piece of wax paper where the glue is going to go, because we know that the epoxy is going to ooze out. It just always does. I have some weights, some server weights. That goes right there. And we need to make up, well, probably 6 more of these, but we'll go with 4, start with 4 and see what happens. You're right on the money, so it doesn't much matter. We got anybody watching this mess? Yeah, 4. What do you know? 2 of those are probably me. Okay, so we're going to cut the triangles. And hopefully this this video will archive. That really aggravated me last night. You know, make a video and then it doesn't take. I use thick set up there when I use thin set back there. Okay. Okay. And you don't have to force it together. Just enough to hold it there. We're not I better put a weight on that. We're gonna have to cut that off there. When I had a chance to get these server weights, I wish I would have took more than 4. I didn't think that I would ever use more than 4. What a mistake that was. I'd use double that. So that's good there. Let's put another weight on top of that there. Hold it down. So that's where the Right there. That's where the stab goes. Hmm. This airplane is relatively simple to build. I don't have any real time in it. I just, a couple of days building the wing. The rest of the stuff is real simple. The sight down it looks good. Now, this stabilizer is tapered. It's not a flat stab. It's narrow at the leading edge and this at the trailing edge. And I've already cut a perfect fit for it, but before we glue it, we want to double check, make sure that it's perfect. So we want to cut a couple more triangles to go in the center section here to hold it right in the center. So, we'll have to sand this one, this edge, just cut it. These are a couple short triangles, and I'll show you why. So we want that corner and that corner, and then the kitty corner. Now, Bob Hunt sells a video that shows some type of alignment system with a stick and measuring, and this way here is the way that I have found to be the fastest, most accurate, easy way to do things. So each one of these bulkheads has a center line on it. It goes right on the first line that you put out, and then right on that bulkhead I glue a triangle to the glass. I was surprised my friend Steve didn't come over. Steve Smith. He was supposed to come over today, and we were going to put a motor in an airplane. But he didn't. So you know that the fuselage sides are square to the bench. You know that the thrust line is straight because glass doesn't bend. And you know that the incidence on the wing will measure up from the glass, but the stabilizer will be the same as the wing because glass doesn't bend. So glass is pretty handy to use. Okay, let's check a few things. Now we can take it up and set the wing down and see. Perfect. Perfect. That was longer because I had to move it, so that's correct. Yep. That's right on the money. Okay. So we're going to test fit it, measure it, make some blocks for the wing. Then I'll put down the wax paper. Take it back up, put down the wax paper, put the glue in it, the 30-minute glue, and then set it back together, and that'll be the end of the video. Because it'll be tomorrow when I take it out of the jig. We'll go back to work on this Continental wing. But it should fit perfectly back in there. Only this time with the wing attached. This wing's built out of all 3/32, including the ribs, contest grade 332 from Stunhanger Hobby. And like I say, 13.5 ounces, triple aught silk span, 4 coats of dope. You see the notch on the front of the wing, it fits perfectly. I use a set of calipers and it fits perfectly into that, so it's keyed into the fuselage. We want to get an eyeball and see what it looks like here. I've already got the push rod in. It's adjustable controls. I think I might have to take it back out of the jig. Set it down all at once. Yeah. So to make sure the wing's in straight, I'll take the flaps off. Oop. Where are you going? So let's put the weight back on the nose here so it doesn't move around. Okay. Now we'll check wing alignment. We know the fuselage is straight. We know that the stabilizer is square because it's right on the line. I won't glue that in yet, but we know that it's square. Okay, the wing is not in straight, so it has to go this way. That square right there. It's on the center line. It's square. That's square. That's exactly where it belongs. Everything. So now we know that it's correct. Thing to do would be to mix up some 30-minute epoxy or 1 hour or whatever you happen to use. I normally do this with 5 minutes, but as I stated, I want to make sure this airplane's perfect because this is next year's Nats airplane. I sold my Thunderbolt. The reason I was going to fly that next year, but it's just not what I want. I don't know. It seems like I just can't achieve what I want. So we're going to shoot for what I want this time. Hopefully that'll all fit together. I think it will. If not, I can wet it up and put it back on the mold buck and pull it together some more. That's another thing. I didn't have to make mold bucks for this. Make sure you like, subscribe, share my channel. Help me grow the channel. If you're not a member of Stunhanger, go to www.stunhanger.com, register using your real first and last name. I'll approve you. You can get all the control line. You can OD on control line on Stunhanger. Oh, as long as we're on that, I had talked to John Brodak about Control Line World, and I was going to take it over. But I'm having second thoughts because I have found, I still have to talk to John, but I found out there's only 34 paid subscriptions. There's absolutely no way I can do it with 34. 340, maybe. Because I have to pay Nikki $20 an hour, 4 times a year, to lay that magazine out. So with 34 subscriptions, there's absolutely no way I can make that work, even without printing. So I know why John is turning it off. I guess he's using it as a tax write-off, but I don't have anything that I could possibly do to do that. So I'm sighting down the back here. The wing is pretty much parallel. I'll have to measure off the bench. Let's do that and see where we are. We're at 1. It's out. Needs to go up to 1.5 here. Needs to be blocked up this way. I need to get something, piece of foam or something under there. Not enough. Yeah, we got this. too much. That's right. Yeah, got a little too much. That's right. So got it. Needs 3/16 instead of a quarter. Piece of 16. Got lots of scrap, so we'll make it work. Is there any questions on how I'm doing this? This wing is 1.5 inches off the thrust line. The thrust line is a piece of glass. This is the thrust line, is the piece of glass. So this trailing edge should be 1.5 inches, which it is. I know that the leading edge is going to be 1.5 inches because I triple checked that. Yeah. So we have 0 incidents in the wing. And everything's square. So I guess we'll go ahead and mix up some epoxy and glue it. And we'll measure. We might as well measure 16. Has. I wish there was glue on it. That's exactly perfect. Yeah, not anymore. Okay, let's take it down and glue her up. So we know that it's correct. I mean, it will go back together the correct way. So we got this piece, this piece, this piece. Take the weights off the nose. Slide. Okay. So we don't need to worry about gluing the fuselage sides on there with the epoxy. Basically, what we're epoxying is this piece up here. We'll CA this to the wing, and then if you follow my other building videos, you'll know that I come back inside with superfill. So I got superfill on the inside and superfill on the outside, and that adds a tremendous amount of strength. And of course, the bell crank is through the shear compression spar, and on top and bottom goes another piece of plywood between the two fuselage sides. So this whole airplane becomes unitized. So let's mix them up some epoxy. First we need a piece of wax paper. Because you know it's going to be messy. Okay. Slow cure. I want to make sure, because we're gluing this all on the fuselage, you want to make sure that you use ample amount of epoxy in this area. Normally I try not to use a whole lot of glue, but this is what holds the motor on. Where the heck are my, here's my big cups here. Looks like we haven't dropped the stream, so we're doing pretty good. Normally running off my other computer, it would have dropped the stream by now, so we're going to run, if I'm going to stream, I'm going to stream off the laptop from now on. There's got to be some issue with the other computer. I don't know why I did that. Why did I do that? Yeah, but it ain't gone, so we're good there. We're going to save this and put them back in so it doesn't leak. Remember, if you want to ask a question, go on YouTube, type in the chat box. I can see it's open from here. And hopefully this video, you can rewind up to 4 hours. This won't be a 4-hour video, but hopefully that this time when I shut it off, it will process and save. And I think the reason why the other one didn't save is because the computer dropped the stream. I'm hoping. This camera takes such nice clear pictures. Way better than my video camera. And hopefully we got sound. I forgot to check, make sure we had sound going. I'll do that now. It would be a shame if we didn't have sound. I went through all this. Oh boy. 7 on now. Yeah, we got sound. Okay, great. I can check it with the OBS software. So that's good. All right, let's put this epoxy back where it belongs. There it is. Get it out of the way. I won't need it again for a while. I like having my pegboard. Never had this in a shop before. I always wanted it, but never have. I can see everything that I need to get at now. Okay, mix 50-50. Of course, as I stated, it'll get super filled down in there. tomorrow. So we want to glue the wing in here. I can remember a time when I was gluing the wing in with CA and I was having somebody help me. And I said, okay, wick the CA down on the wing. Wicked it right out down on the wing and into the control horn. Lock the control horns up. God, that was the end of that. Didn't much do that anymore. So the engine bearers, top of the engine bearers, blew right into the wing. They were contoured right to the shape of the wing. So from what I understand is it transferred the vibration of the motor back into the wing for a smoother engine run. Don't ask me. I don't know. Okay. So that's that part. And we'll smooth some epoxy up here. Got a slight gap in the area between the wing and the firewall, but that's okay. We'll fill that with superfill. The superfill is lighter than the epoxy. So now, let me get this epoxy off my fingers. When you're epoxying, try not to transfer any of the epoxy to the finished areas because it gums up. It's impossible to sand. Okay, so put the weight back on it. We start finagling. There we go. So I don't want to glue this to the wing yet, but I want to glue the two pieces of fuselage together. So take some CA here. Come on. Come on. Okay. So with the fuselage joined together at those cut marks now, it can't move. We'll position the wing in so that it's straight. Tack it and let it dry. Okay. We're not going to worry about the tail. It's right on the money yet anyway. So it needs to go up. I need to move it up with our little wedge here. It's within the thousandth now. But we have to pull it up. That's that. So now, while the glue's drying, the epoxy's drying up there, we're going to just tack this fuselage onto the wing. We'll just sight down the, make sure that the sides are straight and square and they look like it. We'll just put a couple of tacks on it. To hold it. Now, you'll notice that I didn't do any cutting, shimming. Everything fits perfect. That's because of that true fit fuselage method. And that's available from Bob Hunt. Not my idea. But I don't mind stealing stuff that works. And before I end this video, we'll check one more time, make sure all this, everything's right. This is so critical to get this. Have a good flying airplane. This has got to be straight. Yeah. That's it. We did not glue the elevator stabilizer, and I'm not going to. I'll do that tomorrow after this all dries. I mean, I could theoretically glue it as it sits, but I want to double and triple check that and make sure that's in perfect too. So, and with sight down it looks straight. That's how I do things. If you do things different, please let me know. And I'm always willing to learn something new. This is always, since I dreamt this up, it's always worked for me. And I've done probably Since I started doing it this way, I know that I've done 25 airplanes aligned this way. And before I used to, do the measuring, yardstick and sight, and this way comes out perfect every time. So make sure you like, subscribe, share the channel. If you have any questions, you can email me. You can send a message here on YouTube. It's best if you send a message to Stunt Hanger. You can find me on there on Stunt Hanger. Relatively easy. Got a little bit of lag here, it looks like. I got the television on, the monitor going. It's working though. So tomorrow night, about this time, I'll bring you another hour of Stunt Hanger. I got to get back to work on this peak project here. Let's see if it's dry. Yesterday, the stream was, I mounted the bell crank and made the push rod for this Continental wing. And the way I do push rods is in 2 halves so that they're perfect. And this one's just about dry. So we can work on this again, because I got to get this airplane done. I was going to try to have this wing covered and ready to go, ready to install before I did this, but because the way, this JD Weld takes forever to dry, I thought I'd just go ahead and put this together. But I got to get this airplane done because I'm going to be delivering it out of state, and I've been working on this over a year and haven't got it done because I've been painting, and I have some paint jobs left to do. So it's going to be pretty busy next few months. After the shop has been repaired here, I'm more inclined to do some things. I still have to do the other side, but we're not going to work on that until I get caught up on some of these projects. So, I guess that's the end of the video for the evening. Nobody's had any questions, nobody's had any chat. If you guys would like me to do some of those interviews again, I'll be more than happy to do that. Like I said in the video I made yesterday, I do have a bunch more footage left from Brodax that I did not edit up. The problem is everything is so time consuming that I just can't do everything. I wish I was 2 people. If you're not a supporter of the forum, please do so, because I got to come up with I'm about 300 short in 2 weeks. I got to come up with the full year to get the deal. I got to come up with a full year's worth of hosting. So, and that's super expensive. Been looking for a cheaper spot, but because we're so big now, there's just no way I can do it any cheaper. So, till I see you again, fair winds, tight lines. Oh, I would like to say it sure is bad. I'll be doing another one of those roll calls. I hate doing them, but I'm just going to have to do one. So, till I see you again, tight lines.